Hey everyone, back to you into this evening's Snow Watch update. A little bit late with this because I've been waiting for the ECMWF to come through. See what that's showing for the middle part of the week. Big concerns really about what's going on this week. A lot of uncertainty. I explained about it in the weekend broadcast. Do check out weekend broadcast for more detail on why this pattern is so complex. We're bringing down colder air from the north, and then going to introduce Atlantic air as we go through into Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Now, as this Atlantic air comes into the cold air, in theory, it should produce some snow, and I think it will do that on the forward edge. But the initial push of Atlantic air is going to be fairly light sort of precipitation, so not a great deal on that probably on Tuesday. And then it introduces parcels of warmer air. And actually gets mixed up with the cold air. So we have a right-on mishmash of different air types across the British Isles. And then the upshot of it all is that on Wednesday we're going to bring more active precipitation through by the look of it. And that's going to be a real headache to decide where is the risk of rain and snow with that, and I'll show you the charts in a moment for why that is so complicated. But some of that precipitation on Wednesday could be quite heavy, and that creates cooling, evaporative cooling in the atmosphere, and in marginal situations evaporative cooling can just tip you over the edge from rain to snow. So it's all very complicated, but it'll become clear as I go through the video. If I go on back to say about the ads, there's links to articles on most pages at gadgetsurfing.com. Have a browse with widgets. Any articles that you're interested in, please click through. So we've got a bit of a situation tonight down in the south. Got a little weather system coming through the channel onto the south coast. This is the high resolution Euro 4 precipitation forecast for midnight. Blue is rain, pink is snow. So for southern parts, you can bring some rain through the channel into the south coast at midnight. As we go through 6 o'clock in the morning, that is generally by the Euro 4 being kept offshore. So consequently, it's mainly rain really along the south coast. Some snow showers, or perhaps even persistent snow coming through Scotland. Some snow showers for Northern Ireland, a few for Wales and Northern England as well. Elsewhere, mainly dry and frosty. But the Euro 4, which is the UK Met Office product, is generally keeping this precipitation off the coast or just onto the south coast. Really, now the GFS, which has had an upgrade, so it's not quite a high resolution model, but it's not a bad model, that brings the precipitation further north. It generally takes it up towards the M4. If it gets that far north, we will have a chance of that turning to snow. If it's kept along the channel overnight, it's going to be basically rain on the south coast. If it gets inland though, gets up to the M4, that could give a little bit of snow, possibly to southern counties inland from the coast, and perhaps up towards, maybe not over, but towards London. This is the precipitation type forecast from the weatheroutlook.com. Again, blue is rain, pink is snow. At 3 o'clock in the morning, we've got some quite heavy rain here in the south. It's inland, so it's coming up towards that M4 corridor. Quite heavy rain at 3 o'clock. But if we go through another 3 hours, that's actually turned to snow there across some southern parts of England. And that could give a covering of snow in places, particularly over higher ground. But of course, if the Euro 4 is right with this, it's going to be kept off shore, and it's just going to be rain along the south coast, really. So even as far as sort of 6 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow morning, there's a huge amount of uncertainty. There's those snow showers coming into the north. At the moment, I would tend to go with the Euro 4 and think this is basically going to be rain on the south coast. But if you wake up to a bit of a covering of snow across some southern counties south of the M4, don't be all that surprised tomorrow morning. Now, as we go beyond that, we're going to find that system coming in off the Atlantic, as I say, for Tuesday. So here it is. On Tuesday, the area of low pressure is actually centred to the south of Greenland, but it's sending these systems down across the country. Weather fronts, and they're going to be quite weak, I think, as we go through Tuesday, pushing through. They're running into very cold air, so I think initially they will give snow to most places, but it's going to probably turn back to rain away from, say, the east and the northeast, where it could stay as snow, but it probably won't amount to too much even then, so I don't think it's going to be all that heavy. But as we go through into Wednesday, the area of low pressure, the actual area of low pressure that was south of Greenland, is starting to move down over the country. That's quite an unusual occurrence of that to happen. It doesn't happen all that often, but a low pressure sort of decouples from Greenland and moves down over the British Isles. So this is coming down across the country through Wednesday. This is midday Wednesday. There will be some quite heavy precipitation in with that, more than is the case on Tuesday, really, and it's within generally quite cold air, and from quite a cold source, of course, in the Atlantic Ocean anyway. but with still those parcels of warmer air wrapped around it. So a right arm mishmash of different weather conditions really coming down with that, but if precipitation is heavy, there could be a greater risk of perhaps more significant snow on Wednesday than is the case on Tuesday. By the time we get through to midnight Thursday, that low pressure is clearing down into France, out of the way, and it's turning clear and much colder behind it. Here's the precipitation forecast from the GFS model for midnight on Tuesday. In most places will be very frosty and dry at that point. There's the weather front coming into West, bringing rain, sleet or snow in towards Ireland. As we go through into midday on Tuesday, that first weather front is pushing across. Can I just say, quite a weak feature, this one, bringing snow on its forward edge to many places, but probably quite quickly in the south and west, turning back towards rain and sleet. In the north and northeast, it could stay in snow, but even then, it's generally, you get the idea from the colours, generally quite light precipitation, so probably not amounting to too much. Maybe a suggestion it picks up a little bit in the southeast on Tuesday evening. That could be rain, or it could be wintry. We really would have to wait for that to come into a reliable time frame, see if that happens, because it is pepping up a bit, and that could produce a little bit of evaporative cooling. As we go beyond that, that first system clears out of the way. Remember the low pressure coming down over the country through Wednesday, so this is midnight Wednesday, bringing more rain, possibly with some wintry conditions in towards Ireland at that point. And then we go through into Wednesday morning, and that next system, that next low pressure, is coming down across the country. You see that the colours are deeper here, they're deeper blues, indicating that the precipitation is heavier, and that will probably create more in the way of evaporative cooling. In this marginal situation, that could just tip things back towards snow, especially later on Wednesday, as it starts getting colder, of course, as it gets dark. And some really quite heavy precipitation there being signalled for the east at 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday. Again, that could be rain, or it could be wintry. We would have to, again, wait for this to come into the time frame of the high resolution models. By the time we get through to midnight on Thursday, it's all turning patchy in the east, but still a suggestion even at midnight on Thursday there could be some precipitation going on. So let's have a look at the precipitation type forecast again from the Weather Outlook, finally, to see how all that is stacking up in terms of rain and snow. As we go through to midnight on Tuesday, there's the rain just starting to come in towards Ireland with some sleet or snow mixed in, mainly over high ground. Going through Tuesday, that first weather front is coming in, quite a weak feature, but on the forward edge it is producing snow, generally quite light snow, but yeah, there is a suggestion there that for Scotland, Northern England, Wales, the Midlands, perhaps even down to some parts of England, there could be a little bit of snow on the forward edge, but it turns very light and patchy until later on in the afternoon, when it's suggesting heavier rain down here across the southeast as that system is pepping up. Now just there, that may be turning a little bit wintry in the southeast as that system is pepping up, but certainly not really a suggestion of tremendous amounts of snow coming through there. Battle clears out of the way, maybe give a little bit of snow in the southeast overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, but it turns mainly dry, it'll be frosty and icy overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, before more snow this time starts to push in towards Ireland. And that moves eastwards into 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, bringing some heavy rain with sleet or snow mixed in onto the western side of the country, and that all starts to push eastwards as we go through into Wednesday morning. Now, we have got some quite heavy snow here being indicated for central parts of the country, so central England, up through the Midlands, into Northern England, into Scotland, and you notice they're quite deep colours, so that's that heavier precipitation rate coming through, because the rain, or the precipitation, the rainfall is much heavier, it's cooling down the atmosphere, and that is why, that's the difference from Tuesday to Wednesday, really, why we have snow on Wednesday, but it's just light sort of snow or sleety rain on Tuesday. That pushes eastwards through Wednesday morning, possibly taking some snow in towards the southeast, and as we get through in towards 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday, it is in the east, and there's still some quite heavy precipitation there, so this does bring London into the risk of snow on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, perhaps rain or sleet around the Wash, but it's too far away for that sort of definitive detail. And then it all pushes away overnight, Wednesday into Thursday, turning frosty and icy once again. So if you're looking for some significant snow, I think Wednesday could be the day when it may happen, because the precipitation rates look as though they're going to be much higher on Wednesday. The precipitation will be more intense, allowing the atmosphere to cool it's a marginal situation, so that cooling of the atmosphere with heavier precipitation could just tip it all over the edge into snow. For Tuesday, we're probably just looking at light sort of snow initially, and then turning back to drizzly, sort of damp type conditions later on. That could be enough to give a dusting of snow in some places, though, on Tuesday. But I think for perhaps a covering of snow, it really is Wednesday that is the one to be watching out for. But it's so marginal that we're going to have to wait for it to come into the time frames of the higher resolution models, and we won't know really for sure until we get to say around Monday. That's when it'll start to come into the time frame of the high res models. Elevation will make a big difference as well. If you're up on high ground, say somewhere like Buxton or over the Pennines, around the Scottish Hills, of course you're going to get snow, whatever happens in those areas. So we really are talking about on lower ground where we've got this problem about whether it's rain or snow. That's how it's looking tonight. Hope you found the update interesting. That's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.